nervous system go into overdrive. It had a low, throbbing undertone to it that raised all the hairs on the back of my neck. I managed to turn my head and peer into the pre-dawn gloom. A pair of glowing golden eyes looked back at me, set in the face of a wolf with probably his, but I sure as hell wasn't going to try to inspect, teeth bared. Finally. Jesus. Would it kill them to keep a better eye on their borders? "I'm Nate Hawthorne," I rasped faintly, drowned out by the rain. It didn't matter. With the wolf's supernatural hearing, I could have been twice the distance away and he'd have heard me as well as if I'd had a microphone. "I need to see Matthew Armitage." The wolf stared me down. My head started to spin, and I dropped down, my cheek hitting the ground with a splat. "Take me to your leader." I started to giggle, my chest heaving as the laughter morphed into sobs, the curse draining more of my life away. I could feel it like a physical tug on every vein and nerve. The wolf tipped his head back and let out a long howl, a call that probably carried all the way to the other edge of the pack's territory. And then he came a cautious couple of steps closer, sniffed me, let out a disgusted huff, and settled on his haunches a few feet away. He was waiting for someone then. Backup. Maybe, hopefully, someone who could find me a shower and a borrowed pair of boxers. At least he wasn't ripping out my throat. I probably passed out for a few minutes, because between one second and the next, another wolf was prowling out of the forest. Even with the rising sun hidden behind clouds, and even with my vision as bleary as it was, I could see that he was enormous, easily half again as large as the first. Most of the werewolves I'd seen fully shifted had some shade of gray fur, but this one had a coat like a tawny owl, variegated hues of brown and tan, dappled like sunlight through trees. The wolf came right up to me with a nonchalant saunter that was more than a little insulting. To be fair, if I'd been a giant predator with 4-inch razor-sharp retractable claws, I probably wouldn't have been too terrified of the twink in skinny jeans lying in the mud like a lump either. He sniffed me like the other werewolf had, and then shoved one dinner plate-sized paw under my shoulder and flipped me like a pancake. An expression that in a human would be utter horror and disbelief was oddly clear even on that lupin face. His lips drew back, exposing a wicked set of fangs. "I need to see Matthew," I choked out, hoping to convince him before he ripped my guts out and had his minion throw me down a ravine. I hadn't meant to tell the details of the story to anyone but the leader of the Armitage pack, for the sake of discretion. But wasn't saving your own ass the better part of discretion? Or something? "I was kidnapped by the Kimball pack, and it had something to do with your pack. And Jesus, you don't need to kill me." My voice rose to a squeak as he leaned in, his teeth fully on display, his enormous muzzle way too fucking close for comfort. But he didn't bite, just sniffed me again, from my head all the way down to my feet, pausing at my wrists. Finally, he let out a surprised-sounding huff. A second later, his huge form blurred, rippled, and reshaped into a man nearly as enormous compared to other humans as his wolf form was compared to garden-variety wolves. Messy auburn hair curled around his temples, and his freckles might have given him an air of innocence if it weren't for the cold, pale blue eyes. Oh, and the shoulders and chest bulging with muscle, and the claws. Either way, I knew